Hey, hope you're having a good evening. Thanks for joining me on this late Wednesday evening, about to be Thursday, about to be the last day of meteorological winter, believe it or not. It is a leap year, so tomorrow is February 29th. And with that, we might see the potential for a wintry mix, and that is going to be in the forecast tomorrow. Late evening into the overnight, definitely going to be seeing some rain chances tomorrow. And as far as the rain, it's going to be moving in late during the afternoon into the evening, so right around rush hour. Let me get you right into that forecast because it is on the later side on this Wednesday evening. Let's take up weather one here, showing the headlines and showing today's highs. It sure was a cold day. We had that cold front pass through last night, and that was quite strong. And earlier during the afternoon, it wasn't all that warm. Fayetteville a high of only 47 degrees, and that's a few degrees below the average high. And check out Bentonville, 45 degrees, much warmer to our east. And I bet those highs were at midnights because that cold front was strong and it did race through during the day. So what we're looking at here is tonight. It's going to be another cold one. Temperatures dropping down to below freezing. And one of the reasons why we're doing this Facebook Live is because there is going to be the potential for a wintry mix. And if you want, I can show you why that is in just a second. I'll definitely show you some future tracks. And then beyond that, we're going to be seeing a nice weekend. The weekend is looking amazing once again. And beyond that, forecast is looking active and unsettled. Next week is going to be seeing multiple chances for rain and maybe even some storm potential. But for right now, high pressure moving in. And because of that, we're going to be seeing the winds dying off. The past couple days, especially yesterday, it was very windy. Now, tonight is going to be pretty calm. And as the winds die down, temperatures are going to be getting pretty cold too. So, tonight we should be in the mid 20s. But as we expand the view, remember last week we were talking about that big low pressure circulation offshore. Well, now you can see it. Right now, it's kind of in the border between Arizona and New Mexico, right there. And that low pressure area will get picked up in that jet and move right across us tomorrow. So, finally, we're going to be getting some of this rain. But a few days ago, it was looking like it was going to miss us to our south, but definitely looks to be impacting us now. And as far as the precipitation potential, here is one of our computer models, the HRRR, showing some activity across the desert southwest. And all this is going to be making its way east, some much needed rain for the wildfires across the Texas Panhandle, and even some snow for them. But for us, we can see fast forwarding to 10 p.m. tomorrow. Here's Thursday, 10 p.m. Going to be seeing some potentially some heavier downpours, and as the rain falls into a dry atmosphere, we are going to be cooling down. So tomorrow, the highs, they're going to be pretty warm. So let me head over here and let me just rewind. Let me go back in time here. All right. So here is tomorrow midday. So we're looking at Thursday, 11:30, 40s. So for this time of year, not too bad. Heading into the evening, though, we're going to be seeing temperatures climbing up to the 50s. So tomorrow should be a pretty seasonable day. Now, 40s, definitely too warm for some frozen precip. Yeah, Alex, Noah forecast 0 chance of frozen precip. Yeah, who is that for, Alex? I do think that in the higher terrain areas of Northwest Arkansas, we might see some frozen precip. As far as the impacts, little to none, potentially 0. If we get some higher rainfall rates in one specific spot, we might be able to see some accumulation. But again, as far as like the roadways, the major highways, the only parts that I'm worried about, the overpasses in the bridges. So most people are not going to see any effects from this at all. But there is that small chance that we could see some minor effects from this, and it's going to be during the evening hours, so a little bit past rush hour, but it's going to be dark. So that just kind of compounds the the danger there. So here we are, 7 p.m. Thursday. Going forward in time, here's 8 p.m. Notice some pretty heavy showers coming down. Still in the mid 40s. Again, this is a computer model, but here's 9 p.m. We're cooling down to the 30s, Fayetteville 39. Now we're in the mid 30s. And notice the model is starting to show some pinks in there. Now, we're not expecting freezing rain. The surface will be way too warm because for freezing rain, we have to have the surface below freezing and the upper levels a little bit warmer than freezing for that to happen. And the ground is going to be way too warm for that. So Bentonville is the area where there was zero chance. Yeah. Um, Again, as far as the impacts, little to no impacts, but there is that small chance that we could see some impacts. The European, I'll show you that in just a second. So here we are heading into the overnight hours. So past midnight, all this quickly moves out of the area. The models usually hold on to the precip a little bit longer, but that's what we're looking at. We're looking at some rain developing tomorrow evening. Could be heavy at times. Then we're cooling down to below freezing potentially for some areas. So that was that model. Here are the precip chances. Again, this is for Northwest Arkansas. River Valley, a little bit better chance of rain, a little bit less chance of the frozen precip, but of course, the higher terrain areas of the Ouachita Mountains might see some of that sleet mixing in with the rain, and maybe even a few flurries. Jet stream after that here is Saturday, looking active. We are in the southwest flow. Remember, a couple days ago, the European had a negative trough coming in Sunday into Monday, and that had us worried. Now that system is a little bit further north, but still next week is looking active in the southwest flow. The Baja Blast will be coming in next week for sure. And here's the European model, Alex, but this is for next week. Definitely active, showing pretty much rain every day, Monday, Tuesday. And again, these could be storms. The instability is going to be trying to work its way back in. Look at the comments here. Yeah, Alex, guess temperature is the biggest given. You meant question. Yeah, temperature is the biggest question, and I can show you why we're going to be. Well, let me scoot over here and show you the European model here. So there are some snow totals. Again, little in the way of any accumulation. Again, the graph isn't showing much of anything. Here's the European. European is probably the most bullish on this. Alex, I think the HRRR is doing a pretty good job. I think the graph is underdone. I think the European is a little bit overdone. And I can show you a sounding of the HRRR model. GFS showing nothing. NAM, I think that's wild. Again, this is the 10-to-1 snow ratio. So just divide that in half. And probably still not gonna happen. That is overdone. The NAM model. So again, little to no accumulation. If we happen to get an area where we get some higher rates, it might accumulate briefly, but it's not going to be a big deal. So let's see what the European model shows for rain tomorrow. Here's Thursday, 8 p.m. Yeah, it has us cooling down really quickly. Now, the reason why we're worried about freezing rain, I mean, not freezing rain, sorry. It's not going to be freezing rain. Why we're worrying about the changeover to a little bit of sleets is because of the dry air that is in place. Right now, it is very dry. Let's look at the current dew points that are out there right now. I think they're noteworthy. This is some bone dry air. We're in the teens. Mountain Home dew point is 9 degrees. And tomorrow, the dry air will be in place as well. So let me show you what is going to happen to the temperatures because of the dry air in place when it interacts with that precipitation. If I can find my graphic. Here it is. So this is not what I wanted. Here we are. This is a model sounding of the atmosphere for Fayetteville. This is the HRRR sounding. So notice that red line right here. This is right now. That is the temperature line, the isotherm, and this is the temperature profile of the atmosphere as we go up in height. And this is the dew point. Notice that gap in between the red and the green. That indicates dry air. If the lines are right on top of each other, the humidity is 100% and saturation is occurring. But the air at the surface is very dry. So as we go forward in time, it will stay dry. So here's tomorrow morning. The air is still very dry. Heading into tomorrow afternoon, it's still dry. Notice when the forecasted precipitation is going to be falling. It's going to start during the evening. So here we are. The upper levels of the atmosphere are starting to saturate. This is from 7 p.m. according to the HRRR model. So let's go back over here and show you 7 p.m. The rain is starting to fall. And then as it falls through 10, so we're looking at 7 to 10 p.m., it's going to be raining. And that rain is going to be falling down into dry air. So what is that going to do? That is going to cool the temperature at the surface because evaporation, as that rain falls into that dry air, is going to evaporate and cool the atmosphere. It's evaporative cooling. So notice as we go from 7 to 10, the lower levels become saturated and the temperature cools down to around freezing. And notice in the upper levels, we are below freezing. So that's showing rain. Those two green dots is rain. But as we go forward in time, that white dot, yeah, it's showing some indications of a mix. But again, as far as the impacts, little to none. But I just wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a wintry mix tomorrow, late evening into the early overnight hours. Definitely going to be seeing rain as far as the wintry mix. There is a chance of that happening. And as far as impacts from that, it is not looking likely. So if you're just joining me doing this Facebook Live, rain is back in the forecast Thursday and wintry mix ? There is a possibility for some wintry mixing. And if you're just joining, I can show you the HRRR model. And feel free to ask a question. Love to answer it. Take a look at how cold it is right now. Here's Bentonville Square. Fayetteville's at 30. It's getting cold tonight as that wind dies down. Here's that system moving in. Still pretty far away, but it's moving on shore. And all that rain is coming our way. So the rain is going to pick up tomorrow late afternoon into the evening, and that could affect the commute home because that's right during rush hour is when the rain is going to be starting. So 50s for those highs as the rain moves in. We're going to evaporatively cool. And we're going to be cooling down to the mid-30s. Higher terrain areas, we could cool down to around freezing. So just to sum it up, it's looking like a low impact winter weather event. It's just funny how it falls on a leap day, and it just happens to be, and the leap day is the last day of meteorological winter. Saturday and Sunday winds. It is looking a bit windy, Alex. Um, if you missed the newscast tonight, here is the 7-day forecast. Show you those winds. They're going to be picking up over the weekend, definitely. Yeah, if you're going to be firing up that smoker, yeah, it's going to be pretty windy. Um, the windiest day being Sunday by far. Maybe Saturday first thing in the morning might not be too bad, but it's a bit far out. Actually, Friday night or Saturday morning, I think those winds might be picking up. Will they subside? Yeah, I mean, like they're gonna subside during the evening, but they're not gonna completely die down. I mean, usually the winds will subside when we lose daytime heating, but the pressure gradient is going to be so strong ahead of our next cold fronts. Notice how Sunday 82, Monday 69 for that high. So we're going to be cooling back down, but not as cold as what we saw today. It's going to be a lot milder, but with the milder weather, there will be some chances for storms. So a pretty active pattern right now, 20% chance for precip from Sunday to Wednesday. Here's River Valley forecast. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit warmer. Should be in the 80s, mid 80s for Sunday. And then we're going to be cooling back down a little bit. So, big thing here in this forecast is Thursday and Friday. There is going to be that chance of the storm. So, I'm just checking the comments right now and looking up something real quick. Yeah, so big takeaway here is chances for rain are back in the forecast tomorrow, and there is going to be that potential for a wintry mix. But again, as far as the impacts, little to none with the impacts. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But just keep it in mind, there might be some isolated areas where we see a little bit of a wintry precip accumulation. That's going to be the potential for that. But right now, 11:42. I think if there's no more questions, I think I might end it. Yeah, thanks for joining again. Rain is back tomorrow, especially during the evening, with the potential for a wintry mix. Till then, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.